This is what you're going to need to create sawdust paint: a measuring cup and a measuring spoon, an empty container, some plaster of Paris, some sawdust that I just collected from my chop saw, a little bit of water, and your paint of choice. You can use latex or acrylic. This is a tester that I bought from Home Depot, and you can have it mixed to any color that you want. This one's Rusty Gate, and I love it. It's a real nice terracotta color. The first thing that we're going to do is put half a cup of the plaster of Paris into the empty container. You can find plaster of Paris at any local hardware store, and you can also get it on Amazon. I'll put the link down below in the description. And to start off, we're going to put 2 tablespoons into the plaster of Paris, and you want to mix it really well. You don't want any lumps, or you want a real nice smooth consistency. I don't like putting all of the water in right off the bat, so I mix the 2 tablespoons, and then once I have that incorporated, I'm going to put in 2 more tablespoons. So that'll be 4 tablespoons in total. And once again, just mix it really, really well. You want a real smooth consistency, no lumps of plaster of Paris, and just nice and smooth. And this tester is from Behr. It's the Marquee series, and I got it in eggshell. You want to use either a satin or an eggshell. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons into the plaster of Paris mixture. I will have the recipe at the end of the video where you can take a screenshot of it and you can save it in your files. And then you're going to incorporate that paint right into that plaster of Paris mixture. Give it a really, really good stir, and doing this recipe, it might lighten up the color of the paint just a little bit, so take that into account if you want a specific color. And this is what it should look like once it's all mixed together. And now comes the fun part. We're going to add in the sawdust. To begin with, I'm going to put in 2 heaping tablespoons of sawdust into the paint mixture. And then stir that in really well. You'll see that you'll start to get some texture in that paint now. I always have lots of sawdust here in my workshop from me cutting wood all the time, but if you have a hard time sourcing it, if you go to your local hardware store, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to give you some sawdust. I'm just going to add 2 more heaping tablespoons of the sawdust into that, so it's going to be 4 tablespoons in total. And it looks like I got a little piece of a twig that got stuck in the sawdust. Give it a really, really good stir. Get all that sawdust all incorporated right through the whole paint mixture. And you can see the texture that it has. It's just fabulous. And I'm going to use this sawdust paint on this big planter that I got out of the dump. It actually has a big crack in the back. I'm not worried about that because it's going to be at the back and you won't see it once it's all finished. To buy a planter like this, they're so expensive, so I was happy just to find it even with a crack in it, and I know I can fix it up and make it look beautiful. I'm just giving it a real good wipe down and cleaning it all up before I paint it. And if you guys have never used these little Worcester paintbrushes, they are fabulous. They fit in your hand so well, and they're so great for painting. I'll put a link down below and you can check that out because you definitely need one in your stash. And I'm just going to apply a coat over the whole pot. And as you're painting this on, you'll see all the texture that it creates. I have done quite a few other videos on different textured paints. I've done a coffee grind paint, I've done a sand paint, and I've done a salt and pepper paint technique. So I'll put the links down below in the description. Head over there after this video and check them out because all of these finishes create a little bit of a different texture and they're lots of fun. Okay, I've got the first coat completely done and we're just going to let it dry. It's all dry and we're ready for the second coat. And when you're putting on your second coat, just do some long brush strokes and also just kind of tap it on in places, and it just gives it a little bit more texture. When you're mixing up these textured paints, only mix up what you need for your actual project. They don't store very well and they dry out really quickly. So if you need to mix a little bit more, then do that instead of mixing a whole bunch and not being able to use it all. And look at all of that texture. Second coat's all finished, and that's all it's going to need. It won't need a third coat. It looks perfect. And now I'm going to let it completely dry. Now I want to mimic the white powdery substance that comes sometimes on terracotta pots. So I'm going to mix a really thin white paint, just like a really thin whitewash. I'm just adding a little bit of the white latex paint into about half a cup of water and stirring it really well. And then I'm going to brush it onto the terracotta pot and then wipe it off immediately, and it'll leave that white film on the pot. And you don't want very much on your paintbrush, so I'm just dabbing off the excess onto a piece of paper, and then I'm going to brush it right onto the pot and then get a cloth and immediately wipe it off. And you'll see it just leaves that white film that you sometimes see on terracotta pots, and it just makes this look more like a real terracotta. I always get excited when I can pull something out of the dump that was meant to be just taken to the landfill, and I can pull it out and take something really crappy looking and make it pretty again. And I think this is going to be really successful. And it's all finished, and I'm really happy with it. So if you have a chance, try out this sawdust paint technique and let me know what you think down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I love to read them. I'll be sharing so many more DIY, thrifting, repurposing videos, so if you aren't already following along, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and that will let you know when I upload my next video. See you real soon. Take care and have a great day.